Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, performed this afternoon by Peter Griffin and his dirt bike.
All right, folks, welcome back to DMXS Radio. Make sure you check out the Cooper Webb, AP, Malcolm Stewart, Justin Brayton, Colt Nichols. We've dropped a few pods in the last few weeks. Make sure you guys check those out if you missed them. Thank our sponsors, RacerX, MX Sports, W Wheels, Ogio Concept, Two Rowers, and the great folks at Dunlop Tires, whether it's paddle or otherwise. The best tires in the business, including the new GeoMax line for all types of dirt. Check them out at Ride Dunlop. And now it's time for, I guess he thinks he's the Chuck Norris of 250 motocross this summer. Jeremy Martin is back racing. What's up, J-Mart?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Man, we're doing awesome. Do you think you're Chuck Norris? Do you think you could just 8 days prepare for an outdoor national and show up and kick ass? Is that what's happening?
I mean, I tell you what, I don't know if I kicked ass, but I definitely showed up, and I was definitely not training for it, but I was training for a marathon, so I guess I was still in pretty decent shape. But riding fitness is kind of a different beast, man.
Yeah. This kind of shocked everybody. I know that I followed you, with your season last year. I know it didn't go the way you wanted it to. You parted ways with Club MX after the concussions. Where did this come from? I mean, tell me about the call. Just walk us through this crazy event for the summer.
Yeah, so kind of like, obviously, I hit my head twice last year, and the doctor says, hey, dude, you can't afford to hit your head anymore for the rest of the year, at least for another 6 months. And then at that point, I was kind of, I was struggling. I think the injuries kind of broke me, and at that point, I was pretty much just ready to try to take the next chapter in life. And, I got the VIP host gig, and then I was helping my parents at Spring Creek Motocross Park. And then, I think the itch to come back was definitely there, but it was an outdoor only. If the right situation came up, I spoke on it a little bit, to a couple people. And, sure enough, Bobby said, come ride the bike. And I felt like I was physically in a lot better spot than I was, a couple months before that. And, dude, one thing led to another. And next thing you know, I was racing at Paula.
That is crazy. Did you let your mind, grieve or mourn your career? Like you already decided it was over?
I think that for me, like I was finally content, right? Like in the respect of, I was okay, like, if I never got another opportunity. Like, I was having fun. I was enjoying it. I was trying new things in life. We all know I wasn't probably the most social or the best on social media, and the VIP host gig was really cool for me because it challenged me to be kind of uncomfortable in a sense, and I met some really freaking cool people through the whole experience. And, I don't know. I was content, but like I said, that itch to kind of come back was there, and here I am.
Well, tell us about the call itself. Where were you? How did it come about? Were you shocked? Was it? Were you blown away?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised for sure. Right, like I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the Supercross race, and I got there in the morning and I was getting like the hospitality stuff all set up for the VIPs that were coming to be a part of the Star Experience.
Yep.
And Bobby got there a little bit early and we just started chatting and he's like, hey, what have you been doing? And I was like, well, I bought a KX450. I'm probably just going to race the Millville National and that'll be basically like my farewell. And for me, that was kind of good closure. And then he's like, well, come ride the bike. And then I was like, all right, well, he's like, come there on Monday. And I was like, well, I got to go on the Pulp MX show. I can't do that, dude.
Yeah.
And so I went and did the Pulp thing. And then Thursday after that, later that week, I rode the bike and I had a lot of fun. I did the motos with the boys and I had decent speed still.
Okay.
So, and then they said, come back. And I was like, I never expected it, but next thing you know, it happened and here I am.
Does Bobby Reagan have embarrassing naked pictures of you that he blackmails you with? I mean, be honest with me.
I don't know about that, but I think over the years I've had my stuff with Bobby Reagan, like the tension of, racing or like whatever and that kind of stuff. But I think in the end, I look back and I'm still really grateful. I was able to make a living off of racing dirt bikes. And in the end, I think I was able to become a better person and learn how to handle stuff a little bit better as well.
So 1 out of 10, when you said you were going to do a Millville, then walk away, I could tell by your interviews last year that you did not want this. You did not want to go out on those terms. You wanted to make sure that you did it on your own terms. So like 1 out of 10 with 1 being a retirement and 10 coming back, like where was your mind? Like I know that like to get another ride, like I know you want to come back and do some select races, but what 1 to 10, when did you think if you were going to get another chance at a factory ride in a 250s?
I mean, I really didn't expect it to happen. And to be honest, like I was kind of pretty well committed to helping my parents at the racetrack. And like, it's a lot of work to maintain a facility. Right. So I kind of had to kind of play ball. So like the opportunity came up with Bobby. He just said, come ride the bike. And that was kind of the cool thing about it was unfortunately the sport is gnarly. Right. And they have 8 full-time 250 guys,
Insane.
Which is crazy,
it
right?
Is. Yeah.
And then, 4 of them were hurt and they, then that's basically how I got the opportunity. And for me, this is kind of like, it ended up just kind of being, it's the cherry on top of my career. Like I've done my career, when I was kind of in it and in my prime, I was a bad dude. And, this is kind of cool for me to be able to kind of go out on my terms,
Well, I know that it's a limited race deal. What other races are you doing other than Millville on the Star Bike?
Well, so as of right now, I know that the media and everyone was kind of like, oh, he's in for the full season. He's in for the full season.
Yeah,
it's 3 races,
okay.
And I think it's dependent upon obviously 1 results, and then 2. Another big thing, right, is the riders. If the riders can get healthy and come back, then I'm benched and I just shake hands and say thank you for the opportunity.
Right.
And I show up at Millville on a KX450 and sponsored by Spring Creek MX Park.
Okay.
And we just say thank you for everything,
Bobby couldn't get you a deal on a Yamaha 450?
Dude, he's got a lot of guys, dude. There's a lot of moving parts in that team already,
See, if you bought a Yamaha, you could, when you went back in there, you could just take parts and borrow them, and then ship them back UPS, and you could do both of them since you worked at UPS too.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good idea.
Hey, so when you doing this 3 race deal, so it's going to be which other races? Next time we're going to see at the track is when?
Yep. So obviously we had Paula last weekend, round 1. We got Sacramento, and then we'll have round 3 is Denver, Colorado.
Okay, so you're definitely doing. You're not even after the results last week and needing any more time on the bike. You're going to do these next consecutive races. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. I'll for sure be doing the next 2, and I think it's really cool from my viewpoint to kind of, obviously I was able to be a pretty competitive guy for a very long time in the sport, and to go out there now and to see the level, like I've watched Supercross all year, but to physically be on the gate and to line up with the guys. I was in a dogfight last weekend, dude, in Moto2 with Jordan Smith and Austin Faulkner for 20th place.
Yeah, that's insane. So,
it's crazy. It's crazy to see the level. The level has definitely risen all the way through the whole field. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Well, obviously, your original deal with Club MX in 2024 was for 2 years, which was all the way through 2026. So, is the door open enough that if you were to get an opportunity, that you would consider going through 2026 with another team, or to continue try to race?
Yeah, I don't know. It would just kind of have to depend, right? Like, but I think at this point for me, I think this is kind of my
swan song.
This is kind of this is my cherry on top, let's just say. And this is kind of for me to, kind of, I didn't really like the terms that I was going to go out on last year. And, that's part of the reason why I think I took this deal as well, is kind of, it's just for me. You know,
hey, I went to Brock Kepler's house when he had his concussions, and I was, sitting there talking to his mom, and it was a very emotional deal. He couldn't even walk up the stairs to go up to his bedroom. He had to sleep on the couch downstairs. And ever since then, I've been super hyper aware of riders and concussions and how tough you guys are. But I also know the long term effects of that. And you had 2 back-to-backs last year, and your doctors had to take some time off. And are you 100%? And 2, are you concerned about another blow, Jeremy?
I mean, I think that's always a little bit of something that you got to be careful of, right? Like, another blow. But I think for me, I do feel healthy, and I think it took a long time to get the body healthy. And I think I've had other injuries that affects me now to this day. Mm-hmm. And it's been a lot of work, but I think through riding the dirt bike, I feel better. And through exercise in general, I mean, you kind of have to rehabilitate the injury. They say, like, back in the day when you had a brain injury, you'd kind of just sit in a dark room and no TV screens and everything like that. And now the studies that they have nowadays are a little bit different. So I worked pretty aggressively on the PT side, and good enough to line up and to try to get back out there again and try to put in some good results and see if we can ride with the younger generation. I'm obviously a little bit older now, and it's kind of cool to say that I've been able to line up and ride with the younger generation.
What's it like? I mean, you're not that far removed. I mean, we're talking just several months, but when you look at guys that reach this age in their career, and then you back and forth, it seems like it goes by in such a flash of time. But do you feel old when you're racing those 250 guys? Or you said you held your own on the test times, which is awesome. But I mean, do you feel like, man, this is these two? This is like Loretta's.
Yeah, for sure. I think, what made me feel old? This is what made me feel old. So my rookie year, or just like even, probably even at like 24, 25, I could hammer an outdoor national, and then I could ride on Monday, right? And I woke up on Monday and I was like, yeah, I need the day off.
But you're your own boss, and that's what's awesome. You're on the 3-race deal. You're like, I'm taking Monday off. I need it.
Yeah. So I think that makes me feel old, having to take Monday off.
How much do you miss Bobby Reagan cussing at you? I mean, is that like, did you miss that part, being retired too?
Yeah, I mean, like in a weird way. I mean, Bobby always kind of knew what to say to get me cranked up, right, and to get the best out of me. And then, when you're in it, every Saturday you line up and there's a goal to be better, right? And there's can you prevail? Can you break through? And I think when you're retired, everything in life kind of slows down and everything. So it's kind of awkward at first. The transition is definitely a little bit kind of weird, but I kind of welcome the Bobby come to Jesus meetings.
Did he cuss you out on Pala?
No, he was pretty good, man. Bobby was pretty good. I shook his hand at the end. I said, "Hey, dude, sorry I shit the bed. We'll get him next weekend," and he's like, "You better."
You're talking his language. Hey, if you come and just throw yourself and just be like, "Hey," and fall on the sword, he's got nowhere to go. It's not like, he's coming after you. Like, you've already told him, "I know I suck today."
Yeah, 100%.
Do you take away any positives from Pala? I know that's obviously was, like you said, fighting for 20th and is not where you want to be. But the positives is you made it through healthy. You lived to ride another day. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I look at it. I absolutely am kind of honest about it. I got my teeth kicked in for sure, but I haven't been training for a pro national. I literally had 8 days on the bike. And these guys were doing supercross and motocross, and we're at the top level of the sport, right? And you can't just jump in there and be crazy competitive. So I'm not happy with it, but all you can do is just try to keep doing your best and keep improving. And we have Hangtown this weekend, and we'll try to make the best of it. And just kind of go from there, man. I'm just enjoying it, just enjoying the ride.
What about the pace? I know that like I said, you're not that far removed, but outdoor nationals are a whole lot different than Supercross. But were you surprised about the pace? What was it? The starts, the track, the bike not being used to riding? Was it just the arm pump? What was the biggest surprise jumping back in 8 days on a bike?
I think the biggest thing, right, is like, obviously we all know what it's like when you don't ride that much and then you go ride, right? Like you're pretty sore. Your hands get kind of beat up and all that kind of stuff. So there was that. And then I think just the level of, there's your practice track rough, right? Like you have your one or two main dominant lines. But when I lined up at Paula and then we went out there, I was like, oh my God, dude, this is an outdoor national. Welcome back, J Mart.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
How much riding have you done these last several months? I know you've been training for your marathon and stuff, but have you been on the bike much at all?
No, I mean, I haven't. I mean, I was able to ride the KX450. I probably got about 5 days on that, but I mean, I would run in the morning, training for the marathon, and then I would have to go out and, I was helping out at Spring Creek, so we were building trophies for the local races on the weekend, or, putting chemical on the fence lines. I mean, and then the last thing I would do after I get done is go spin some laps real quick at the end of the day. Okay. So I think the priority was definitely not like, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to ride today, we're going to work on getting better. It was just at that point, it was like, hey, we got to work, and then when we get some free time, we go ride.
When's the last time you had to buy a bike?
This winter, I went to the local dealership.
No, before that, like when's the last time you had to literally had to buy a motorcycle?
Dude, I would say the amateur range.
That's what I'm saying. That's a long time.
It's crazy, huh?
And nobody just let you have one, keep one. Club MX like, hey, just keep the practice bike.
No, man. I I put out a couple feelers and nothing really kind of came about, and I just said screw it. Just went out and bought a bike.
Tell me about the marathon dream. Where did this come from, and which one did you want to run, and all that stuff?
Yeah, so the marathon kind of came from Big Alex, my brother.
Okay.
He's pretty into the whole thing, and last year I did the Leadville 100 mountain bike race. So that was kind of always like a bucket list thing, and I kind of knew that, like with pretty much. I didn't come out publicly and announce I was retired, but with pretty much being retired, you're so accustomed to having that goal every Saturday, or having something you're focused on trying to tick that box and do well. So I think the running event was something cool. I've never done a marathon before. I definitely did not enjoy training for it. It's pretty gnarly to do 26.2 miles, but I think I appreciated the challenge and the accountability of it.
How do you have the knees left after all these years of moto for running? I cannot run on pavement. Like I can run off road, like, on mountain bike trails and off, if it's dirt, but I can't take the pounding on pavement.
Oh, dude, I'm telling. I was jacked for about 3 weeks, and then I don't know if I was like David Goggins, like find a way. Like I don't know. I took 3 weeks pretty hard, and then I took a rest week, and then from that point on, I was able to kind of buff. It all worked out. It all kind of buffed out, and the knees felt a little bit better. But for sure, the pounding was insane.
Can you take anything from your two-wheeled racing to 2 feet racing at all? Like mentally, busting through the wall, anything that you can relate to, outdoor training as opposed to running a marathon and having to endure the whole 26?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing, right, is just to suffer. You suffer on the dirt bike, and you suffer off the bike training for a marathon or a mountain bike race or whatever. But I think the biggest thing is it all kind of hurts and it all sucks, right? Something about I enjoy pushing myself and kind of enjoy a little bit of suffering. So I got a little bit of a dark side on me. I enjoy the suffer, you know.
I know that you didn't go out on your own terms. You've won titles. You've had great rides, factory team rides, all that stuff. What do you have left to prove? I know this is your cherry on top, moving on, and everybody always wants to have more accolades on their career when they're done. But you've had a great career. Is there anything left for Jeremy Martin to prove on a dirt bike?
I think if for anything left to prove, it's just for me. I just really want to enjoy this and soak this up. You know, I think at this point, if I can be competitive and I can battle up front, and let's just say I can get into the top 5 here or top 10 and battle with these younger kids, I think that would fill my cup up. Or I think at that point, the way I was kind of wired is I was able to win 2 championships, and I don't know if it would have ever been enough. 3, 4, 5.
Right.
You're always going to want more, right? It's hard to let that go.
So tell me about the UPS. So you worked for UPS for a little bit just to pass time, and you were bored. When you fill out your application, did you have to put on their factory motocross rider as your last job?
Yeah, so that the whole UPS thing was pretty funny when it kind of came up. You know, I went from doing boot camp in the off season and getting ready and setting goals and having all this stuff going on, and everything at Spring Creek was pretty dead. The snow had fallen, and I'm like, dude, all I've ever focused on was going as fast as I possibly could on a dirt bike. I don't know what else to kind of do. So I kind of immersed myself in some uncomfortable situations, and I applied for a seasonal assistant helper gig at UPS to gain a new perspective and outlook on life. And, dude, it was gnarly. It was really gnarly, and it helped keep me out of the house and get busy. And I'm really grateful for being a dirt bike racer, man. That's for sure.
Did they let you drive a truck?
I did not get to drive a truck.
Damn.
I wasn't qualified, but I was the guy running the packages to the house and scanning and taking photos of the package on the doorstep. And dude, I was one with the UPS crew.
Did you get chased by any dogs?
I was pretty good that way. I never was really out. My routes were kind of more in the city, so the dogs were kind of locked up during the day. But I did see a couple, yes, and the old dog biscuit helped quite a bit.
Did anybody that you worked with knew who you were racing your career?
A couple. One of the guys that used to deliver out at Millville, growing up over the years, he knew me. So, my first day on the job, I was there, and he's like, dude, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm here to work, man. And they're like, dude, you know who this guy is? And I'm like, shut up, dude.
Dude, that's actually kind of amazing, because if I walked in, to a regular job and saw, Jeremy McGrath or, Ricky Carmichael back in the day, I'd be like, dude, are you lost? Are you looking for your suspension? Why are you at UPS?
Yeah, for sure. It was a good gig. It was fun, man. I really enjoyed it. And, just like I said, trying something new and meeting new people. And the UPS gig I knew was going to be done at some point, because it was a seasonal assistant gig, and then ended up kind of getting the VIP host gig with Star and enjoyed that. And I think that's the coolest thing is it's just you got to kind of immerse yourself into different things and try new stuff when chapter 2 kind of hits,
And I love the thing about the VIP host, because you're such a relatable guy and so down to earth, and you might not have been like the probably the big social bug during your career, but I love that job for you. That would be if I was a fan coming in, I would be pretty pumped that you were there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. I felt like I got better throughout the season. I definitely was not, I would say, the VIP host of the year. I think that goes to Adam Echticknap. That dude is an all-time.
Yeah, he's wide open.
He's a legend, dude. He's got good banter and everything like that. But I was definitely pretty relatable. I could relate with the crew, and if you wanted to know the rider's perspective and kind of what was going through their mind, and then obviously, when Webb was winning his championship, you could kind of see the strain on their faces, and to be able to kind of say, hey, this is probably maybe what he's thinking about, and this is what's going on throughout the day. It was pretty cool to give them that experience. And we've always we've like done the stuff where you're in the tunnel, you're down in it on the stadium floor for opening ceremonies. And like, I was able to show these guys like what my life was like for 11 years as a racer. So they were able to get like the behind the scenes perspective and see Supercross from like what I've seen it from. And they don't really get that opportunity, you know?
What about like questions? Are these like knowledgeable fans, or did you have some newbies that just bought it because they have a ton of money, have nothing about the sport, and then hit you with some of the most random questions?
So that was the cool thing. You got people that definitely had deep pockets and a lot of coins.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you had people that were like, "Hey, this is our vacation. Like we saved up for this."
That's
so, like,
awesome.
We were hoping to meet Eli Tomac and see Beast Mode, and obviously Eli was hurt this year, but to give them the experience and like I could relate to both parties.
Yeah.
And then, it was just a really fun Saturday, every Saturday, new city, show them the perspective and just try to relate to them and give them the best experience they could for what they paid for.
And you're with them all day, right? So you kind of get to know them a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And it wasn't like we would talk like bike setup and they'd have questions about like riding technique and, star and what was it like and this and that. And then it got to a point to where, hey, what do you guys got going on away? Like what's going on in your world? Like how's life? Like what's going on? You got kids and this and that. Okay. And then, it just kind of went from there. So it was neat, man. It was really neat.
Is there any other rider that's been on Star 3 times, like at different times?
Dude, I don't know. I think I set a new world record for that. Obviously when I did the test gig and then it went decent and I had decent speed that day, we were in Denver, and Bobby pulled me into the truck for a meeting. It was Bobby, Brad, and Jensen.
Yeah.
And we all just looked at each other and we're like, third time's the charm. And we all just started laughing.
And they brought Lil Will Hahn back. I mean, he does a great job getting the people that he wants back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I will say this, I've grown up, I've learned how to manage relationships and how to handle things a lot better, pressure and everything. And then to kind of come back this time and to be able to ride the new generation Star Yamaha. Like you got to think, I rode this bike I was a rookie in 2013 with a carbureted Star Yamaha.
Wow.
And then I went 2013, 14, 15, 16, went to Geico Honda for 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then they closed doors. And then I went back to Star for 21, 22. And then, I did Club.
Yep.
And then to kind of come back, now in 2025 and ride the new bike.
That's crazy.
Not many people get that freaking opportunity, man. Like that in itself is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things where, like, when I look back at your career and just that's why I said about what less what you have to prove, because man you've just done some there are 95% of the people that race never have what you have. I mean that's so I know that retiring with a concussion, moving out, not knowing if you're gonna come back and race sucked, and I hate not going on your own terms, but man you can stand on a pretty good pile of shit you've done right, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think about that. I think about I think more so now I look back and I'm like, dude, I actually did some gnarly stuff. But in the moment, you're so fixated on right now and what you can do to be better that you maybe kind of lose sight of your accolades and your accomplishments. But
yeah,
like I said, man, at this point, I see that now. I've come full circle, and I'm just stoked to be here. Like this is the cherry on top. There's no pressure. I'm just a fill-in. And I could go 3 rounds. I could do the rest of the season. Either way, I'm going to be stoked and be happy. And I'm just taking advantage of the opportunity, man.
Hey, just for us old guys, just so I want this younger generation to respect us. Next time you're on the test track, I want you to just go out there and just knock Hayden Deegan down and say, "What's up, bitches? I'm here. I'm back. The old man is back."
Yeah, dude, it would be pretty cool. Like if I could get in and get a battle with him, man. The guy's a legend. And he's been kicking my teeth in during the weekend, last weekend at Paula. But if I could get up there in these next 2 rounds and battle with him, I'm going to be like, dude, I could be like your dad.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. He can't hurt you because he's afraid of hurting an old person.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like elder abuse. I can't knock him down, Bobby. He's really old. I'm afraid he's going to break his hip or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, we'll give you the Dunlop 5 questions and let you get back to getting ready for Pal. I talked to Hangtown. I talked to Colt Nichols last night. I asked him if he's already hydrating for starting on Tuesday for this 103-degree weather you guys are going to race this weekend.
Dude, I know it's going to be gnarly. Obviously, I'm definitely still a little fatigued from Paula. And then, it's been hot down here this week, and then it's going to be a barn burner, 102 degrees on Saturday. So it's, yeah, man, time to start drinking some water. Jesus.
All right. Well, the Dunlop 5 questions, the best tires, period. Make sure you keep up with them on all their social medias at Ride Dunlop. Jeremy Martin, what was your first car, young man? It's probably a hand-me-down.
My first car was a 2005 GMC 2500 van.
Was that your dad's? No, it was a van, so maybe not a van. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was basically. I guess my dad kind of bought it for me so I could travel the national circuit without. But yeah, dude, got 300,000 miles logged into that beast.
How many did you put on it?
So we bought it. It had 100, and then I finally got rid of it in 2018 because at night the lights were flickering and going on and off when I was driving it at night, and I was like, dude, this is a hazard, you know?
So you sold it to some poor son of a bitch who's right now ran into a tree after you sold it to him at night.
I said, hey, dude, the lights are a little sketchy, but if you want a day commuter, day only, this is your guy.
This is your bitch. All right. Do you ever talk to guys on the starting line?
I think back in the day, definitely not. Right? Like I was kind of like locked in and I wanted to have that chip on my shoulder and whatever else. But now I go up to the line and just whoever looks like they want a proper chat, let's go.
Good. Dude, and this is your VIP coming out in you. You're the social bug you never were.
Yo, 100% for sure.
All right. Well, Millville, I know you've had tons of people come through there. Who's the first autograph you remember getting as a kid from a rider?
First autograph. So I just remember, like, obviously I was pretty blessed that way. Like, we would get people coming in to either ride the track a couple weeks before or like whatever. So I think what vividly sticks out, like Heath Voss.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly.
World champion.
Yep. Ricky Carmichael, back in the day we had the Geico Honda boys come down when Josh Grant was like a rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So I've been very lucky and fortunate to be able to meet a lot of really cool people throughout the years, just via Spring Creek,
Do you have any like jerseys of people, memorabilia, like a collection of other rider stuff?
Yeah, I've got a Tomac jersey. I've got a Carmichael jersey.
All right.
I got a Troll Train jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, and I definitely would like to add to that collection for sure. So, I mean, you never know. I might still be on the hunt for something.
I was going to say, man, this is the time. I mean, I donated a lot of my stuff to charities, and I don't regret that because I think that was always like, when they're doing raffles and auctions and stuff like that, it's always a good thing. But keeping a few of the super close ones to me, I treasure those, and I think that's as you get older, you look back and you wish, man, I wish I had a lot more of those things. But I'm glad you have some.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. It's kind of cool looking back on it. And then what I thought was really freaking cool was I was in Pulp MX in the studio.
Yeah.
In Vegas, and that was the first time. And to see his studio and to see all the jerseys and pants and helmets and all that kind of stuff, I was like, dude, this is a time warp. Like we have present and we have past, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty freaking cool to see. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that collection can stand up to a lot of that. That collection in Vegas. I mean, with all the bikes and stuff, I've been to that, and we have to honor the old stuff. And I think the old gear still looks cool. I mean, I'm old school, but I like some of this stuff. I'm like, no, bring me back the 80s and 90s gear.
Yes, sir. That stuff is pretty sweet, man.
All right, last question. And this is I ask everybody, this has nothing to do with your retiring, is how do you want to be remembered by the fans? I mean, I ask Colt and AP and Cooper Webb, everybody this question, but how do you want to be when fans see you in 10, 15 years? What do they want to say about Jeremy Martin?
Man, I guess I've thought about that quite a bit, in the last year. And I guess I would just like to say he was just a hardworking dude, straight shooter, and I just kind of want to be known as a guy that did everything he could to try to make it, get the job done, and was a good guy, pretty stand-up guy. For sure.
Well, there is nobody in the pits, and I know a lot of them that would say anything different about that. And with the fans as well, both you and Alex have just been amazing in your entire family. Let's face it, with your track and everything, you guys are staples of our sport, and you both their sons have represented the sport well. And you have this is fun. This was a fun one because you're back, and I love how you said cherry on top. That's a perfect way of describing this 3-race or 4-race whatever stint is with Star Racing to bring you back on the track and let you say goodbye to the fans in a proper way, man. We'd love to have you back, and thanks for catch up on DMXS, brother.
Yeah, man, I was stoked you gave me shot me a text, and always happy to get on here, and hopefully I see you here in the near future, huh? All
right, bud. Well, good luck at Hangtown. Start hydrating right now. You ought to be pissing about 10, 15 times a day coming up on Friday. You should be overhydrated and bloated by the time you land and get ready for Saturday.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, buddy. Well, hey,
peace.
Thank you for everything, and we'll chat soon.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. All right, there we go. Jeremy Martin, back with Star Racing for a limited series. We were joking a little bit why did he start with that race. It was funny that he could not really wait till Millville. He was obviously filling in for injured riders, but very cool. I'd still worried a little bit about those concussions, and I hate to see riders rush back, but he sounds like he's doing well. You can't have symptoms and be training for marathons. So that makes me feel better about his heart rate and all of those things, and dizziness and all that stuff has to be gone for that. So it sounds like he's in great shape. Just has to get into race speed. And like you said, if you get to the top 10, top 5 before this stint's over, that would be a successful summer. But thanks again to our sponsors, Racer X, MX Sports, W Wheels, the great folks at W Wheels, OGO Concept, 2 Rowers, Greg Hammond, my man. I told you I'd rep you forever, and I am. Dunlop Tires, the best tires in the business, including the all-new Geomax line for all types of dirt. Check them out at Ride Dunlop. So actually just did Colt Nichols is going to be dropping tonight. We've got Brayton right after this. So we've got a few for you guys lined up. So make sure, thanks for checking them out, and make sure you guys check out Coop and AP and Malcolm if you missed them. Peace.
What's up, guys? This is Justin Brayton, David Iser, and Kevin Keller, a bunch of clowns. You can go ahead and turn your radio off now.
Get ready, America, because WUSA is your #1 source for quality wheel sets in America. WUSA offers all the top brands that you and the world's best racers know and trust, like Reed, Dungey, Millsaps, Tickle, Sealy, Short, and more. All rely and trust WUSA, because all our wheels are built right in our shop in Orange, California. And if you want it custom made for your bike, like the world's best freestyle riders, Renner, Deegan, Adams, Madison, Mason, Sherwood, and others, you can choose different spoke and nipple colors for a completely custom look that'll dazzle you. Off-road riding, WUSA can build you wheels for the absolute toughest of conditions. And W also offers DID and Excel rims, along with OEM replacement spoke and nipple kits for your stock hubs. Need brakes? W offers the industry's best oversized and standard brake kits from Galfer and Brembo. Just see your local dealer or visit us at WUSA.com. Hey, you can also download the most current W catalog from the iTunes App Store. WUSA, DUBYA USA. It doesn't get any better than us.
You listen to us because we are motorcycle guys. You might even call us gurus. We are awesome.
I've been called a lot worse than that, Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, we're the guys. We know everything. I know everything about you. I know everything about movies. I know everything about the space shuttle launches and the crashes. Everything.
And because you turn to us for motorcycle knowledge, we only tell you about what's the best, Kevin, because our spotless reputation that we've built for 16 years is on the line. That's why.
Yeah, and I would not risk my crappy reputation on just anybody. That's why we are telling you about Dunlop tires. It's what we have on our bikes. I have a fleet of motorcycles, and they all have fresh, crispy Dunlops on them. If the pros have them, you know us amateurs are going to have them. They're good enough for them. They got to think they're good enough for us dorks.
Too good for Dunlops? You're a tire snob. We want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, good luck with that. But not just the pros use them. Everyday riders agree, and they have the testing to back it up. You can't beat the quality of Dunlop motorcycle tires.
Let's wrap this bad boy up, Kevin. Whether you're on the dirt, the road, or the track, you can depend on Dunlop. To learn more about their products, visit DunlopMotorcycleTires.com or your local pro dealer. The amateur guys are working their way up. Go to a Dunlop pro dealer. Check them out. We love them. You will too.